From Tokyo to US highways, these JDM legends became icons worldwide. Here are 10 cars that ruled American streets. Number 10, Mazda RX-7. Back in the 1980s and early 1990s, the Mazda RX-7 didn't just roll onto American streets, it took over them. The FC generation, born in the late 80s, brought that classic turbo punch everyone craved. With its 1.3-liter rotary engine pushing around 200 horsepower, it felt raw, mechanical, and thrillingly unpredictable. The turbo spooled up with a kick that could shove the driver back into the seat, giving a kind of analog connection that modern cars rarely replicate. Its sharp, boxy look, straight out of a neon-lit decade, made it an instant street icon. And with used prices often under $20,000, it became the go-to car for gearheads who wanted real performance without bleeding cash. But the RX-7, launched in the early 90s, was different. Smoother, sleeker, and far more dangerous to its rivals. Under that curvy body sat the legendary 13B RE rotary engine, armed with a sequential twin-turbo system that delivered over 250 horsepower. It wasn't brute force, it was precision. Light, aerodynamic, and balanced, the FD could glide through corners like it was reading the road's thoughts. Drivers loved how it made European sports cars worth twice the price, like the Porsche 911, sweat in comparison. While the FC was affordable and straightforward to maintain, the FD demanded respect and money. Top condition examples easily push past $45,000, especially those Japanese A-spec versions with extra power. Its rotary engine needed attention, and rebuilds weren't cheap, but that was the price of perfection. On the streets, the RX-7 was a rare sight, a head-turner that combined art and engineering into one unmistakable silhouette. In the end, the RX-7 wasn't just another sports car. It was a movement. From the gritty turbo surge of the FC to the futuristic precision of the FD, Mazda proved that power didn't need pistons to rule the American roads. Number 9. Subaru Impreza WRX STI. When the Subaru Impreza WRX STI hit American streets, it didn't just show up, it redefined what a street car could do. The early GC8 generation, 1992 to 2000, was small, light, and furious. Powered by a 2.0-liter turbocharged E20 boxer engine, it packed anywhere from 247 to nearly 300 horsepower, depending on the version. The sound alone, that deep, uneven flat-4 rumble, became a calling card. It wasn't polished or delicate. It was raw, twitchy, and alive, built to tear through corners with all four wheels clawing for grip. The Type RA and the legendary 22B made it even wilder, stripped down, wide-bodied rally weapons for the road. These cars didn't need fancy tech or digital tricks. Their magic came from a perfect balance of power, weight, and stubborn Subaru soul. By the 2000s, the GDB generation, 2000 to 2007, arrived, and everything got sharper. It was heavier, stronger, and more refined. A car that could hit the track on Sunday and handle rush hour on Monday. The big step up came with the 6-speed manual and Brembo brakes, giving the WRX STI the kind of control that made other performance cars nervous. The 2.5-liter EJ257 in US models offered bigger torque numbers, while Japan kept the high-revving EJ207. Whether it wore the bug-eye, blob-eye, or hawk-eye front end, it always looked ready to throw down. What made the WRX STI take over American streets wasn't luxury or comfort, it was confidence. This was a car that could power through gravel, snow, and asphalt with equal aggression. It felt tough, rebellious, and purposeful. Even today, clean examples can fetch $30,000 to $60,000, depending on rarity and condition. The WRX STI became more than a car. It became a badge of identity for those who wanted rally heritage in their driveway and dominance in every corner. Number 8. Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution didn't just arrive on American streets, it crashed into the scene like a lightning strike. For years, gearheads had only heard whispers of its rally-bred dominance overseas, where it tore through dirt and snow with terrifying precision. That changed when the Evo 8 finally landed in the US in 2003, bringing with it everything that made the car a legend. All-wheel drive grip, a turbocharged 2.0-liter 4G63 engine, and handling sharp enough to humiliate cars twice its price. This was the first time Americans could walk into a dealership and buy a machine born from World Rally Championship DNA, and it cost under $30,000, a price that made performance suddenly feel accessible. What set the Evo apart wasn't brute power alone, it was how smartly it used it. Earlier generations had introduced active yaw control, and later Super AYC, systems that could shift torque between wheels to keep the car balanced in ways most drivers had never felt. The Evolution 7 added active center differential, fine-tuning grip and stability to near supercomputer precision. By the time the Evo IX came around, with its Myvec variable valve timing and faster spooling turbo, the car felt almost psychic, responding instantly to every twitch of the steering wheel. But the real reason it took over American streets was emotional. The Evo had attitude. It looked like a street fighter with a spoiler and hood vent, raw, loud, and unapologetic. It didn't whisper refinement, it shouted performance. And when car enthusiasts realized they could modify one to push over 500 horsepower without breaking its spirit, the legend only grew. The Lancer Evolution didn't just compete with cars, it created a following, a cult. And to this day, spotting one rumbling down a US street still feels like seeing a piece of rally history in motion. Number 7. Nissan 300ZX Z32. When the Nissan 300ZX Z32 hit American streets in 1989, it completely changed what people expected from a Japanese sports car. It wasn't just fast, it was futuristic. Powered by a 3.0-liter V6, the car came in two forms, the VG30DE, pushing 222 horsepower, and the twin-turbo VG30DT, packing an aggressive 300 horsepower and 283 pound-feet of torque. That twin-turbo setup gave it serious bite, the kind of acceleration that could embarrass much pricier European rivals. For around $33,000, Americans were getting supercar-level performance in a sleek, modern package. The 300ZX was also one of the most advanced cars of its time. Its design was refined using a Cray supercomputer, a first for Nissan, resulting in a body so aerodynamic that Lamborghini later borrowed its headlights for the Diablo. The twin-turbo versions even came with super high-cast four-wheel steering, giving the car sharper cornering and stability that felt almost telepathic. It looked futuristic, handled like a dream, and had tech that felt straight out of science fiction. On the streets, it instantly turned heads, low, wide, and perfectly proportioned for the 90s performance scene. But what really made the 300ZX take over American streets was balance. It was fast enough to challenge a Corvette, comfortable enough for a daily commute, and stylish enough to look exotic. Owners loved the T-top roofs, the digital dash, and the way it felt glued to the asphalt at high speed. Sure, the engine bay was so tight, mechanics joked it was like working in a shoebox. But no one cared. The thrill was worth the pain. The 300ZX became a poster car for an entire generation, a symbol of 90s Japanese engineering at its absolute peak, and one of the machines that defined what performance meant on American roads. Number 6. Nissan Silvia /240SX. The Nissan Silvia, known to Americans as the 240SX, ruled the streets from the late 80s through the early 2000s by doing something few cars could, mixing affordability, balance, and attitude. The S13, S14, and S15 generations turned ordinary drivers into street legends and cemented the Silvia's place as a cultural icon in both the tuning and drifting scenes. What made it so irresistible was simple: a lightweight body, rear-wheel drive, and an engine that begged to be pushed harder. The S13, 1988 to 1994, was where it all began. Japan got the SR20DT turbo engine, while the US version, the 240SX, made do with a 2.4-liter KA24 engine borrowed from a pickup truck. It wasn't fast out of the box, but its perfect 55-45 weight distribution and multi-link rear suspension made it handle like a dream. Its simplicity and balance turned it into a tuner's favorite. Cheap to buy, easy to modify, and capable of transforming into a tire-shredding drift car. Enthusiasts discovered they could spend under $10,000 and build something that could keep up with cars twice the price. Then came the S14, 1993 to 1998, wider, stiffer, and more mature. It swapped the boyish looks for a more aggressive stance, split into the Zenki and Kuki versions. While purists missed the S13's rawness, the S14 handled better at high speeds and felt more refined. By the late 90s, the Silvia had become the ultimate platform for tuners chasing grip or glory. The S15, 1999 to 2002, finished the saga in style. Its Spec R version packed a 250-horsepower SR20 a 6-speed manual, bigger brakes from the 300ZX, and a limited slip differential that made it stick to corners like glue. Priced around $25,000, it was pure driving joy. Though never officially sold in the US, the S15's legend crossed oceans, dominating car meets, drift tracks, and every teenager's dream garage. It didn't just conquer American streets, it redefined them. Number 5. Honda Integra Type R. The Honda Integra Type R became a street legend because it proved that a front-wheel drive car could dance with the best rear-wheel monsters of its era. From the DC2, 1995 to 2001, to the DC5, 2001 to 2006, it turned everyday roads into racetracks and every corner into an adrenaline rush. Its secret was Honda's obsession with precision, less weight, more revs, and zero gimmicks. The DC2 was raw performance at its purest. Under the hood sat a 1.8-liter B18C VTEC engine, hand-built to perfection, screaming out 197 horsepower at 8,000 RPM in Japanese models and 195 horsepower in US versions. It wasn't just about numbers, it was about the way it delivered power, surging to redline with surgical precision. The chassis was stripped, stiffened, and sharpened. Lighter glass, minimal soundproofing, and double wishbone suspension gave it cornering ability that embarrassed cars far more expensive. With a 5-speed close-ratio gearbox and limited slip differential, every shift felt like it came straight from a touring car. Then came the DC5, sold in the US as the Acura RSX Type S, but in Japan, the true Type R took things further. It carried the 2.0-liter K20A iVTEC engine, pushing 220 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed manual and Brembo brakes. It was more refined, slightly heavier, about 200 pounds more, but faster and easier to tune. Honda swapped the old double wishbones for McPherson struts, a move purists debated, yet it didn't dull the thrill. In the late 90s and early 2000s, this car didn't just take over American streets, it owned them. For around $24,000, drivers got a car that could rev to the sky, corner like a go-kart, and teach supercars humility. The Integra Type R wasn't loud or flashy, it was focused. Every bolt, every rev, every corner engineered for one thing, driving perfection. Number 4. Toyota AE86 Corolla Levin Sprinter Truno. When the Toyota AE86 hit American streets in the mid-1980s, it didn't scream luxury or horsepower. It whispered something far more addictive: driving feel. At a time when the roads were filling up with heavy sedans and boxy coupes, this compact rear-wheel drive machine felt like pure adrenaline wrapped in steel. Weighing barely 2,000 pounds, it wasn't fast by the numbers, just 112 horsepower in the US version. But its perfectly balanced chassis and razor-sharp steering made it feel alive in the driver's hands. The AE86 came in 2 trims, the Levin with fixed headlights and the Truno with pop-ups that became a pop culture icon thanks to the manga Initial D. Suddenly, Americans weren't just seeing a Japanese car, they were witnessing the birth of a legend. Whether tearing through mountain roads or sliding across parking lots, the AE86 quickly became the go-to choice for car enthusiasts who wanted skill over speed. Under the hood sat the 1.6-liter 4AGE engine, a joint masterpiece by Toyota and Yamaha. It revved smoothly to over 7,500 RPM, delivering a punch that felt far stronger than the modest specs suggested. A 5-speed manual and an optional limited slip differential sealed its reputation as a car that rewarded talent, not just throttle. But what really made it take over American streets was accessibility. You could own one for under $10,000, modify it cheaply, and still smoke bigger cars on winding roads. With roughly 2.8 million units sold worldwide, it became a symbol of pure, affordable driving joy. Even today, decades later, the AE86 isn't just a car. It's a cult hero, the kind of machine that reminds people why they fell in love with driving in the first place. Number 3. Honda Civic. When the Honda Civic EG and EK generations rolled into the 1990s, they quietly reshaped American car culture. Compact, light, and endlessly tunable, these Civics became the backbone of a street scene that valued precision and creativity over brute power. The EG generation, 1991 to 1995, known for its rounded bubble shape, came in lighter and sharper than ever. It was the car that felt like an extension of the driver's hands, direct, playful, and eager to dance through corners. Under the hood, American drivers got the 1.6-liter SOHC VTEC D16Z6 engine with 125 horsepower, while Japan's top-spec SIR EG6 pushed out 170 horsepower from the legendary B16A DOHC VTEC. The double wishbone suspension, borrowed straight from racing DNA, made it handle like a go-kart with a license plate. Then came the EK generation, 1996 to 2000, a little more mature, slightly heavier, and a lot more refined. The longer wheelbase added stability on highways, while a better-built cabin gave it a daily driver charm. But it didn't lose its fire. The EK9 Type R, sold exclusively in Japan, was a handmade powerhouse with a 1.6-liter B16B engine producing 185 horsepower, paired with a close-ratio 5-speed gearbox and limited slip differential. It cost around $25,000 at the time. Expensive for a Civic, but every dollar bought an engineering masterpiece. What really took these cars over American streets was freedom. They were cheap to buy, easy to fix, and endlessly modifiable. Enthusiasts could swap parts, upgrade engines, and still keep it street legal. Whether it was the featherweight EG carving canyons or the more stable EK cruising city blocks, both became symbols of independence and ingenuity. Proof that performance didn't have to come with a supercar price tag. Number 2. Nissan Skyline GT-R. When the Nissan Skyline GT-R roared into the 1990s, it didn't just show up, it conquered. The R32, R33, and R34 generations turned American car culture upside down, even though they were never officially sold in the US at first. The legend started with the R32, 1989 to 1994, the car that earned the nickname Godzilla after humiliating rivals in the Australian Touring Car Championship. Under the hood was the 2.6-liter twin-turbo RB26DE inline-6, officially rated at 280 horsepower, though in truth, it made closer to 320 horsepower. With its Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system and super high-cast four-wheel steering, the R32 could corner like nothing else in its class. Lightweight, raw, and almost telepathic, it set the stage for what would become one of the most respected badges in car history. The R33, 1995 to 1998, took that raw energy and refined it. Bigger, heavier, but more composed, it became the first production car to lap the Nürburgring in under 8 minutes, a feat that shocked the automotive world. The advanced Atessa ETS Pro system and active limited slip differential made it unstoppable at high speeds, while the rare Nismo 400R pushed power to a wild 400 horsepower, with only 44 units ever built. Then came the R34, 1999 to 2002, the face that ruled video games and movie screens. Sleeker, shorter, and sharper, it featured a 6-speed gate-drag transmission and a 5.8-inch LCD display showing real-time engine data. Technology far ahead of its time. Its combination of precision, power, and pop culture fame made it irresistible. By the time Fast and Furious hit theaters, the R34 wasn't just a car, it was an icon. With special editions like the Nismo Z-Tune, now valued at over $500,000, the GTR's dominance on American streets became inevitable. It wasn't imported, it was worshipped. Number 1. Toyota Supra. When the Toyota Supra A80, 1993 to 2002, hit the streets, it didn't just mark a new generation. It redefined what a Japanese performance car could be. Lighter, sharper, and infinitely more focused than its predecessor, it became a legend the moment that 3.0-liter 2JZ engine started to roar. The standard 2JZ GE version packed 220 horsepower, but it was the 2JZ GTE twin-turbo model that flipped the performance world upside down. In Japan, it was officially capped at 276 horsepower, but export versions for the US and Europe pushed that number to a staggering 326 horsepower, a figure that felt conservative once tuners started experimenting. What made the Supra unstoppable was the strength of its engine. The iron block and forged crankshaft could handle power levels well beyond factory limits. Some tuners extracted over 1,000 horsepower without even cracking the block open. Pair that with the bulletproof 6-speed gate-drag manual transmission, and it became the dream setup for enthusiasts who wanted both control and chaos. Design-wise, the A80 ditched the bulky Grand Tourer image for something aerodynamic and muscular. Models came in both targa top and hardtop forms, with purists chasing after the lighter hardtops. Even the differences between JDM and export models became collector trivia. Bigger brakes here, different turbo setups there, but they all shared one thing: attitude. Then came the Fast and the Furious, and the Supra wasn't just a car anymore. It was a symbol. Prices skyrocketed, and unmodified twin-turbo manuals now sell for well over $150,000 in the US. What once ruled drag strips and mountain roads became a cultural icon, a car that defined a generation of speed lovers. The Supra didn't take over American streets through marketing. It did it with raw power, timeless design, and a movie that made everyone want one. Which JDM car do you think deserves the crown? Share it below, and hit subscribe for more car legends.